Disclaimer. This is a work of satirical fiction. Any resemblance to real places or situations is purely coincidental and exaggerated for comedic effect. The story intentionally contains factual inaccuracies and absurdities as part of its artistic expression.
They kick in the door at the break of dawn with a badge and a gun and a soul that's gone. No war and no knock, just a mask and a lie, while the kids in their wake can only cry. Oh, the ice Gestapo's here again. Same old playbook, same old sin. They round them up fast, but they screw up slow. Just a bunch of boys with nowhere to go.
Jeff and Apples walk the street, talking about the sky so neat. Weather weapons causing storms, globalists with secret forms. Jeff and Apples, what a pair. Whisper plots while breathing air. Apocalypse is on its way, but they still find time to play. But they still find time to play. But they still find time to play.
How you doing there, Apples? Oh, pretty good. Nice day. A little hot. I might not walk with you up there, but I'll stick with you here at the house, and if you come back, you can give me some tacos. Yeah, nice and peaceful here. Not like Minnesota, in the land of the free. Looks like anarchy up there. That's what they'll tell you, right? But it's actually the exact opposite. It's the government, the state, causing massive, massive chaos. Just never ends. And the latest one is, and I don't know all the details. I didn't even really look into it that much. Like, there's event after event. This is what I said. We're only like 3 weeks into 2026. There's already been so many. That's, in the apocalypse, you don't even have time to even look into these things. And, you know, really, like, it doesn't really matter. Because when you understand what's actually going on, none of this stuff, like the details of it, doesn't matter that much. But, of course, you got ICE out there, and they're in that super dangerous place, Minnesota, where there was all those problems. And another person got shot by ICE. Of course, there was the Rene Good one, 3 times in the face for pulling up. And this one, and again, like I said, I haven't looked at all the details, but it looks like a guy with a camera.
Oh shit! What the fuck? They killed him? Did they fucking kill that guy? Are you fucking kidding me, dude?
Of course, he just got his camera, and then all of a sudden the Gestapo start surrounding him, start pushing him. They eventually get him on the ground because he had a camera. And if you look at the video, it looks like he has a gun kind of on his waistband in the back, and you can actually see an ICE agent take it. And here's where I'm not sure. It might have gone off when the ICE agent took it, although I don't know, and I haven't looked into it. I don't care. But I'm just, pointing this out as how it looked from what I saw. And then another ICE agent just starts unloading into him like numerous times. Like, I don't know how many shots, but it looks like 5 shots or something, which is pretty insane. But that's, you know, how they're trained. A lot of them are trained in Israel. That if there's a gunshot, you just start unloading. And so that guy's dead. And of course, a lot of people, this has got a lot of people all up in arms. And you actually have the right side people getting all upset that he had a gun. I'll get into this in a second. This is so incredible how they twist everything. They put the left and the right side people are all under mind control. And in a cult, they're both in their different cults of statism. And they flipped it all around. So now the right side people go crazy if you have a gun. And the left side people say, no, it's okay to have a gun. It's crazy. I'll get into that more in a second. And pretty incredible to see, again, how the state, the government, kind of like puts out their angle on it. Like you have that Bovino guy who actually dresses up like an SS officer from the Gestapo in Germany. Which the ICE people are getting so mad that people keep calling them Gestapo. It's like, well, you actually dress like that. And of course, there's no courts or trials or, you know, things to get to the bottom of anything anymore. Now there's just tweets and press conferences. And it's like, and here's Bovino, and he's like, he was trying to do maximum damage and massacre law enforcement.
The suspect also had 2 loaded magazines and no accessible ID. This looks like a situation where an individual wanted to do maximum damage and massacre law enforcement.
And of course, all this stuff is all scripted for them from the producers, the directors, the main actors.
We write the screenplay. We're the directors. We're the producers. We're the main actors. And the world is our stage.
Just like during the Cobains, with every mainstream media news outlet, CIA propaganda, all reading from the exact same script.
Extremely dangerous to our democracy.
This is extremely dangerous to our democracy.
This is extremely dangerous to our democracy.
This is extremely dangerous to our democracy.
And yeah, exact same thing here. Here's Bovino and Noem saying the exact same things.
An individual approached U.S. Border Patrol officers with a 9mm semi-automatic
handgun.
The officers attempted to disarm this individual, but the armed suspect reacted violently. Fearing for his life and for the lives of his fellow officers around him, an agent fired defensive shots. Medics were on the scene immediately and attempted to deliver medical aid to the subject, but he was pronounced dead at the scene. The suspect also had 2 magazines with ammunition in them that held dozens of rounds. He also had no ID. This looks like a situation where an individual arrived at the scene to inflict maximum damage on individuals and to kill law enforcement.
I remember reading the book 1984 by George Orwell when I was younger. And it seemed like such a fantasy, like, because that wasn't how my world appeared. It was actually. But now it's so obvious. The party told you to reject the evidence of your eyes and ears. It was their final, most essential command. Yeah, same with that Renee Good one. They're like, oh, she was trying to kill everybody. Didn't look that way at all. This guy had a camera. Now, he did have a gun, and we'll get into that in a second. But, you know, it's the land of the free, I thought, right? You're actually supposed to be allowed to have a gun. That appears to be a change in the narrative now, and I'll get into that in a second. But as I mentioned, you have that Bovino guy. He dresses like pretty close to like an SS officer from Germany, from the Gestapo, and I think I'm gonna get like a much lower credit score on X after this video because
calling law enforcement names like Gestapo or using the term kidnapping, that is a choice that is made. There are actions and consequences that come from those choices. And then when you choose when someone chooses to listen to a politician, a so-called journalist, a community leader that spouted that type of vilification towards law enforcement or anything else, when you choose to listen to that, that is a choice, and there are consequences and actions there also. I think we saw that yesterday.
So let me get this straight. So if you use words, they have consequences. That's true. That's true. See, there's always a little bit of truth. He says, by using names like Gestapo or calling it kidnapping, you're going to have some consequences. Well, I'm glad I'm not in the US, because I probably would have some consequences. Luckily, I'm here in Mexico. We do have a Jewish president, but they don't have any power or control of anything, which they want to change. That's what the whole attack on the cartel stuff is. But, yeah, this whole video is about how ICE is Gestapo. And I always call it kidnapping whenever the government takes someone and puts them, and like takes them from anywhere by force and puts them in a cage. Because what is that? That is kidnapping. I just use words that that describe what's actually happening. What's interesting, he points out, like, you can't call them Gestapo. Well, most Americans won't even know what the actual meaning of that word is. They'll just have known the word from numerous Hollywood movies about the Holocaust, which never happened. Do you see how insane all this stuff is? It's all lies, all propaganda. But here is what the word Gestapo actually means. It's from German. It literally means secret state police. It comes from the abbreviation, the full German name. Geheimstaatspolizei. Geheim, secret, Stas, state, Polizei, police. Gestapo. The capitals were taken to form the short name Gestapo. Okay, so it means secret, government, state, police. What is ICE? Well, it's government, state, police, kind of. They're not really police, but they're like, they act like military, basically, in the streets. Now, the secret part, how many of these ICE people just can do anything they want? There's hidden detention centers, all that kind of stuff. Sounds kind of secret to me. So that's just the German word for what ICE is. But I guess there's going to be some consequences for me saying that. Well, I've gotten used to that, and I don't mind. Because you know what the consequences that matter to me are? That I always say what is correct and true as much as I can, like with the best of my ability, with the best of my knowledge. And what is right, despite the consequences. And that's something a lot more people need to do. But it's so incredible, again, like, for years and years, every time I talk to an American, or even other people from other countries, because they all get the same propaganda, and they go, where do you live? I go, Mexico. And they're like, oh my gosh, isn't it dangerous? Like, oh, have you been watching that oblong box, the scrying mirror in your house? They're like, yeah, I look at it, I peer into it for hours a day. It's like, you're under the mind control. Yeah, no, it's not that dangerous. It's actually one of the, like for me, like really, like how long have I been here? Like 15, 20 years now? Never had a problem. I've tried to beat up some cops sometimes, but that was my old life where I was drinking a lot and and I'd end up in jail and then I'd pay my way out and all that kind of stuff. But as far as like problems that come to me, now of course there's problems that happen in life. That's normal. But as far as Mexico in general being dangerous, I'd say the US. Like, how can you watch all this stuff? I've actually seen the World Cup, which is their sports ball distraction, obviously, which actually the World Cup guy even just said recently, it's basically magic to basically keep people docile.
Because this is also magic. You would think this is a ball, right? Well, that's not a ball. This is not a ball. This is actually, let me show you. Yeah. Well, you see, this is a magic instrument that transforms people in happy people. Again, And look how he's smiling, you see? Immediately. He was serious, he gets the ball. Give the ball around a little bit to the crowd, and you will see it transforms people in happy people. This is what this strange instrument does. And children, the children's face become happy, and adults become children, and they start playing, passing the ball. Look, the smiles all over the room. This is fantastic. This is beautiful.
So that's coming up in like June or something, and it's actually in 3 different countries, Canada, the US, and Mexico. And I might even go to a game here in Mexico, like a Team Mexico game, even though they kind of suck. And even though it's super, super boring to me, like, I can't believe anyone can sit through a soccer game. Like, once you've watched hockey your whole life, like, it's just like donk, donk. Then a guy will even like just touch someone and just flop around and cry. And then another guy comes in and gives him a yellow, and everyone goes, oh. And then they usually decide it by kicking a small ball into a giant net that the goaltender has no chance on getting, unless he's super lucky. And then if he's super lucky, people in that country will probably kill the person who didn't get the goal. It's an insane, insane game. But I might go to one just, World Cup, Mexico, it's in Mexico. But I've seen a lot of people canceling their tickets to the World Cup in the US because it's just far too dangerous, which is kind of funny, right? Like, a lot of them probably come to the games in Mexico. Canada is like dangerous as well. Like, super dangerous and super poor. So that's interesting. But getting back to the ICE Gestapo, there actually isn't really a lot of difference in how it all looks from the Gestapo. But let's, look at them both and make sure. No, ICE is not just like the Gestapo. See, there are some differences. Let's go through the differences between the Gestapo and the ICE. Private army serving one man, okay, same. Purpose is to facilitate ethnic cleansing, kind of, although it's all people, except all Goyim, basically, same. Dress in intimidating clothing, well, the Gestapo dressed super nice. Like, I kind of wish it was like that. Now it's like these military robo-cops. Send out to terrorize neighborhoods? Yeah, they both kind of did that. Randomly kidnap innocent people? Yep, both. Often do not carry search warrants? Yep, both. Do not allow their victims a fair trial? Yeah, I don't think there's any trials going on. Nope. Send their victims to concentration camps? Looks like that's what's happening. Oh, here's the difference. The Gestapo did not hide their faces behind masks. And in the case of Germany, the public was too afraid to fight back. But in the US, well, here's where I have a problem with this meme. I'd say the US, they're too afraid to fight back too, because you haven't really seen that, have you? Like, you have a criminal organization that did 9/11, that faked the moon landing, that created a plandemic where no virus existed, and they tried to kill everyone in the US. They steal about half of everyone's money. They tell you you can't do anything. Like, there's more rules and laws in the US, I'll have to look this up, but there's gotta be, than anywhere else on earth. Land of the free. So what are the people waiting for to stand up to the government? They all have guns. This is the really interesting thing, is they actually have the ability to fight back, but they don't, because they're too scared. And on the SS side, I don't know because I wasn't there. But it's not all how people think it was, I don't think. Like, basically, you had Judea, Jewish culture, whatever you want to call it, had declared war on Germany. So Germany, with their government, Adolf Hitler and all that, said, we got to get these people out. They tried to transfer them through to, I think, Madagascar. But through the Rothschilds, they did the Balfour sort of thing, and they ended up sending them to Palestine, which is, to this very day, the most horrible place on earth because of the people who moved in there. So when you hear about like the SS and stuff, I think they did have them. And I think they probably did do quite a bit of bad stuff, like sort of like ICE officers, just going around harassing people. You know, papers, please. Sound familiar? It's almost exactly the same. Although if you really kind of like look back at how a lot of that SS stuff was, it was way, way, way better. It was way more civilized. It was still like a lot of tyranny and a lot of that sort of a thing, from what I can tell. But it looked nothing like this ICE stuff. This ICE stuff looks like the most heinous, like, just brutal dictatorship ever coming in and just stomping on people. Whereas in Germany, it looked like way more civilized, actually. Although, now they're kind of like looking similar, but the US looks far, far, far worse.
Nazi.
Wie bitte? Haben Sie mich gerade als Nazi beschimpft?
Na, Sie sind doch einer.
Das ist ja eine Unverschämtheit. Nur weil ich in der NSDAP und in der SS bin, bin ich noch lange kein Nazi. Wahrscheinlich bin ich auch noch rechtsextrem, oder was?
Ja, aber was sollen Sie denn sonst sein?
Ich bin vielleicht ein besorgter Bürger, der Angst vor Überfremdung hat. Aber ich bin nicht rechts. Und ich bin erst recht kein Nazi. Hey, Sie da? Sehe ich etwa wie ein Nazi aus?
Nö, würde ich jetzt nicht sagen.
Na, sehen Sie? Aber der ist wahrscheinlich für Sie auch ein Nazi, hm? Nazis, 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 lauter Nazis. Wenn einem die Argumente ausgehen, dann holt man schnell mal die gute alte Nazikeule raus.
Es hat doch nichts mit Nazikeule zu tun.
Sie machen sich das Leben sehr einfach. Nur weil jemand die Mainstream-Meinung nicht teilt, ist er gleich ein Nazi.
Aber Nazi sein ist doch längst Mainstream. Ihr Nationalsozialisten seid an der Macht.
Ach ja, ich vergaß. In Ihrer Welt sind ja alle Nazis. Der Führer ist wahrscheinlich für Sie auch ein Nazi, was?
Ja?
Jetzt reicht's aber. Führerbeleidigung. Mitkommen.
Das sind jetzt über...
Ja, ja, ich weiß. Nazi-Methoden.
I think based on that, if you're to say, would you rather live during the times of Nazi Germany or live in the US right now? Based on everything I know, easily. Easily Nazi Germany. Like, yeah, they had a bunch of, like, state stuff, government stuff. This, you know, not for it at all. But it looks so much better than this. Here's Minneapolis, not Fallujah. And let me remind you, the reason we're talking about Fallujah is because the U.S. went in there and killed 500, get your head around this, because they've also done it in Gaza. There's very legitimate reports now that over 500,000 children have been killed in Palestine in the last 2 years. And they did the same thing in Iraq, but, you know, they thought it was worth it.
We have heard that 500,000 children have died. I mean, that's more children than died in Hiroshima. And, you know, is the price worth it?
I think this is a very hard choice, but we think the price is worth it.
And then even in that video, like this U.S. terrorist organization, do you get it yet? She's like, well, this is as bad as when the U.S. killed almost everyone in 2 different Japanese cities for no reason. It's like, they keep comparing their past terrorist acts to their latest ones. It's like, it wasn't as bad as the last one. It's like, can we just stop this? But the people are under the mind control. They've watched like thousands of Hollywood movies about how the military is out there, Team America, World Police. But really, all this is just so sad because all these people are just under massive, massive mind control. And they've been fooled and tricked into cheering on. A lot of people cheer on this tyranny. Like as an example, like you hear a lot of these sort of MAGA people and even non-MAGA people, sort of like a lot of American people saying stuff like, well, the immigrant stuff has gotten so bad, which actually it really hadn't gotten that bad. you know, a lot of it is just a bunch of Mexican people who just do your gardening, right? Like, in fact, that's causing a ton of problems now because a lot of them are leaving and there's just no workers to do that stuff. Of course, that's what the robots are for, and that's a whole different story. And I've said to Mexicans for a long time, like, do not go to the US. It's one of the most horrible places on earth, and they're seeing that now, right? Like, they're getting chased down the street, they're being hunted. It's like, what are you doing? Like, Mexico is still here, and actually the economy is probably like better in many ways than the US, but I think a lot of them are figuring that out now. But, you know, there has been some problems. Like, for example, David Avocado Wolf told me that there's an area of Texas where basically there was some sort of like what you could call immigrants or what he called cartel or those sort of people that were causing massive chaos in these Texan border towns. So he was kind of like pro this Trump stuff because I think his father lives there or something. He's like, we got to get rid of these people. Well, here's the thing. Here's the trap. And here's the sad part. All of that stuff is caused by the government basically on purpose to make you want the police state. And so that's where the sad part comes in, is that they're so good at what they do and people can't see it. They're like, no, Biden brought it in. It's like, and Trump before him, yeah. And Clinton, yeah. Bush, yeah. They all do. It's all one big system, a criminal system, but they do these things. So they'll bring in all these migrants, they'll cause problems in certain areas so that people demand the government do something, but that's what they want. That's problem, reaction, solution, the Hegelian dialectic. They do it over and over and over again. And that's the part that I wish that a lot of those sort of people could figure out a little bit, because I get it. They're like, well, my dad's like living in a war zone because of migrants and this sort of a thing. Yeah, that's terrible. But at least realize that's done on purpose to make you want to get enslaved even more. That's really the case. But in the meantime, they have all these people under mind control. And so even when the ICE people go out and kill people, they become like rich. The easiest way to become a millionaire in the US is to shoot an innocent mother in the face. Yeah, that guy's raised like $1 million now for being the Gestapo and like shooting people in the face. That's how, see, it's all just screwed up. So you might be saying, like, what's the answer to all this? There's no answer. This all needs to collapse and go down, and a lot of people are probably going to die in the process, and then we rebuild. That's the answer. And you just need to survive it. And I've been trying to tell you how to do that for a long time. If you think about it, like, what have I been saying? I've said, get out of the cities, get out of the West. You know, there's probably people in Minnesota right now going, can't even leave their house without fear of getting shot. Get on something like a ranch. And of course, it doesn't have to be an expensive place. You can find like a super cheap place somewhere in Latin America and grow your own food. Yeah, but then, Jeff, I wouldn't have my car and go to the sports ball games and all this stuff. It's like, yeah, you have to actually give up all those things. And they give you those things to keep you in their trap. And I get it. Like, I don't want NHL hockey to go away right now. I want to see the Oilers win the Stanley Cup. But if it does, I'm okay with it. Totally okay with it. And I realize it's all part of a system to keep people enslaved. But for me, being outside of the Matrix, I can enjoy watching a hockey game because it's a great game. Way better than soccer. Like, anyone who's a big fan of soccer, I keep asking Gareth, because he's actually a fan of soccer and hockey. I'm like, how's that possible? Those are like two opposite things. Be like being a fan of, like, I don't know, like skydiving and like knitting. And they're both, you love them both. It's like, how? Like, how are you that kind of person that can do both those things? But anyway, that wasn't a good example. I'm sure there's a better one. But anyway, it's so incredible. So the guy got shot by ICE. All he had was a camera. He did have a gun, so what? Good. Everyone should have a gun. If everyone in the world had a gun, it'd be a lot better. Way better. There'd be hardly any real crime. The problem is when the government has all the guns, then it's just nonstop crime. And that's what ICE is. You have the people in the red hats. The First Amendment. Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof or abridging the freedom of speech. And the MAGA people are like, I love it. Freedom of speech. Cool. I'm going to film ICE. That's terrorism. You know, when I first started talking with the Dollar Vigilante, which is the first really outwardly anarcho-capitalist financial newsletter, which has done incredibly well. Incredibly well. Bitcoin at $3. They're even $2. Everything that we have in our portfolio is at all-time highs right now and skyrocketing. But we started in 2010. Right after that, I started Anarchast. Right after that, a couple years later, started Anarchapulco. Let's talk about how anarchism, basically a way of living life where people aren't slaves and have a ruling class, a violent, thieving ruling class, would be better for humanity. For years and years, so many people just thought I was crazy because they're under the mind control, which, you know, like I don't take it personally because I'm talking to people who are under heavy mind control. And they're like, you're crazy. It's like, you're under mind control. Like, it doesn't matter what you think about me because you're under mind control. But it's getting very, very obvious now. It's going to be very interesting how things work out over the next few years. So I think people are starting to get it, but they still got their teams, right? That's the thing. And they're so smart with it. They give you the teams with the colors. This is all very important. Humans are still pretty kind of like basic, like tribal, basic. You give them some colors and a symbol and like a sing-along song and you tell them that's your team and then you tell them the other team's bad. For most humans, that's all you really need to do. So they're still stuck in it. And they're all fighting each other when the actual problem is the government itself, but they're like, well, it just needs to be us controlling it. No, and that will never work. And the reason it won't work, well, like work, you know, what does that mean? It'll never have a really good outcome for the majority of humans because it's based on violence and theft. And anything that's based on anything that's basically immoral or not right will always devolve into just heinous, horrible things because that's the basis of it. If you base anything off of stealing, extorting, raping, killing, murdering, it's not going to go great for everybody. It might go great for a few people, and that's the politicians and the people who control them. They do great. But, so basically I'm this guy. You got the left side people with their surgeon's masks for no reason, their gay pride stuff. Then you got the red hat people with their Israel, which is all a Rothschild terrorist organization, and their military state police back the blue. You're both just awful. But they're so good at what they do, basically the controllers, you know, the people who produce, direct, act.
We're the directors, we're the producers, we're the main actors, and the world is our stage.
They're so good at what they do. And there's always so many agendas with all these things. Like every single one has so many agendas. And this particular ICE one of the agendas, and this is becoming very obvious now, is a gun control agenda. Because theoretically, there's a piece of paper somewhere. And some old Mason guys signed it one day. And on it, it says, you're allowed to have a gun. Now, for me personally, if someone came out and said, I got a piece of paper that says you're allowed to have a gun, I'd be like, who the fuck are you? You don't tell me what I'm allowed to do or not. You got it? That's step one. But a lot of people have been the government's here to protect us and they give us the rights. You have the rights. You always have the rights. That's why they're called rights. They're right. But they fooled everyone into thinking, I only have those if this criminal thieving terrorist organization allows me to have it. Well, they're quickly changing that, and this is where it's so incredible to watch. you're actually seeing the right side people basically wanting gun control now. Here's Donald Trump. He had a gun. Only criminals carry guns on our streets. We need law and order, just like that television program we were pumping India. Thank you for your attention to this matter. There you go. That's the president. Now remember, see, a lot of people have forgotten this. All the MAGA people. Do you guys not know Donald Trump used to be a Democrat? And he used to be for things like gun control. Yeah. See, Donald Trump is an actor. And he has no principles. And he'll just say whatever he's told to say. But yeah, he used to be a Democrat. He's good friends with the Clintons. Do MAGA people know this? And now he's basically saying that if you have a gun, basically that's a bad thing. And that only criminals carry guns on streets. It's not only criminals, but there is a lot of criminals, yes. You got the cops, you got the ICE people, those are all the criminals with the guns. I remember when Republicans told us it was our constitutional right to carry firearms to a protest. Now it's a problem. Open carry is bad now. And just like that, the left became pro-gun and the right became anti-gun. They did it. They are so good at what they do. And you have to give them props. Like so good. And they just play with everyone like puppets. And they make them do the opposite thing of what they did the last time. And you know, in some ways, this is how this 3D video game works. If you have a bad, basically, position, the 3D video game will come and show it to you like a mirror. And that's what this is actually doing right now. So now you have the right side people, they're like kind of against guns now. So basically what the 3D video game is showing them is, but you said the exact opposite 2 years ago. Do you see? Do you see what you're basically, you got to get your mind sorted out. You actually have to get some principles and stick to them. And that's what like anarchists are. Like anarcho-capitalists, anarchists, voluntarists. We just have one principle. It's like the easiest, most simple thing to stick to. Do not use force against people who aren't using force against you. Do not aggress against innocent people. That's our only principle. It should be the easiest club to be in the world. It's not even a club. That's how it's supposed to be. And so when things like this happen, it's very easy for us. It's like, well, that's wrong. Oh, there's a bunch of guys with guns went and like shot that guy because he had a gun. Well, was the guy like going to shoot them? Well, of course the gun will say yes. But it didn't look like that, did it? So again, for an anarchist, it's very easy. We don't have to flip-flop on anything, ever. And if we do, then everyone knows we're not a true anarchist. And that's actually what you see, actually. Like, even with the Trump stuff, there was a whole bunch of libertarians for Trump sort of thing. Remember how I laughed and laughed about that? And us real anarchists, true anarchists, we're always very cautious with people who say that they're kind of libertarian or anarchist. Because a lot of people will say that when it suits them. So if you have a company and the regulations are destroying your company, you'll become libertarian for a while. It's like, yeah, I'm libertarian. Shouldn't be that regulation because it affects you. But then it goes to regulate something else that you don't like, that you want, that isn't hurting anyone, but that you want to have problems, and then they like it. See, those are basically fake libertarians. That's what most of these people are. And because of it, like they keep the cognitive dissonance, they just keep flip-flopping, and whatever suits their mind control and their feels, they'll just jump on the other bandwagon. Now, here was the founding of the US, which was actually a violent revolution. Quit defending dangerous criminals. Here's what the MAGA people would be like in Tiananmen Square. Stop obstructing law enforcement. Here's Martin Luther King. He's an Antifa agitator. Lock him up. MAGA guy with his Palantir shirt on. And again, looking back at the way the U.S. was founded with a violent revolution. Armed protest, totally un-American. Yeah, here was 2024. States' rights, don't tread on me. 2025, occupy me with the military, daddy. Lick that boot. So that's one of the agendas, is getting the right side to want gun control now, and the left side actually support guns. Just kind of showing them how demented they all are. Trying to wake them up. Like the actual, you know, in this 3D video game, a lot of this evil stuff is there to wake people up. That's what I think. But a lot of them aren't waking up. And there's so many other agendas. They've got like 20 agendas with everything. And one of them is to roll out their Palantir sort of database tracking sort of stuff. Which, if you would have said Barack Obama was doing that 20 years ago, Alex Jones, his head would have exploded. Barack Obama's using like AI, massive system to track and database absolutely everyone, exactly what they do with their, track their eyes, how they walk, know exactly where everyone is at all times. But now, they've managed to switch it. So people like Alex Jones, now Alex Jones works for them, so he just does this, that's part of his job. But a lot of people who used to believe in that kind of stuff are all actually cheering it on now. And one nice guy actually just came right out and said what they're doing.
It's not illegal to record.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's what we're doing.
Yeah, why are you taking my information down?
Because we have a nice little database.
Oh, good.
And now you're considered a domestic terrorist. So
We're videotaping you? Are you crazy?
Yeah, if you're out there against the government, you're in a database now. Now, that current government might not come after you specifically at the moment, but they're going to switch it soon to the other side, and then that comes after you. And people are going to get the boot forever and ever until they wake up. And a lot of them aren't going to wake up. Then we told them we had to put them in a domestic terrorist database to save them from the immigration crisis we created. They're all laughing. Meanwhile, here'll be the MAGA people a year or two from now. We sure own the libs. LOL. Obey, stay in line, submit. ICE is building a domestic terrorist database for Americans? I voted for this. Yeah, justice, freedom. Stupid bitches. Should have complied. I really don't care about this stuff. I care more about this. Look at this. We've got new baby sheep. This is what I care about. See if I can zoom in on them. Oh, they're so cute. That's more what I care about. Oh, and speaking of Alex Jones, they've got all their CIA, Masonic, social media influencers who all get massively pumped up, while all of us people, basically anyone who speaks at Anarchapulco, we are so massively shadow banned, no one ever sees our stuff. It's incredible. Yeah, people like Alex Jones out there basically trying to incite the Civil War, which is another part of what they want. They've been trying to get this going for a while. The biggest problem is most Americans are too fat and lazy to want to get out and do the Civil War. But they keep trying to push them.
Sorry, but welcome to America 2026, where Second Amendment is the only thing that's going to keep you fucking protected from literal fucking Nazi gunmen that are killing innocent people in the street with impunity. This is not a fucking joke. There's nothing fun to chant about it. Get your fucking guns and stop these fucking people.
Yeah, that's what they want. And if they can get people to do it, then they can really bring in their martial law police state to crack down. Let's go over to Turning Point USA, which was taken over by Erika, Kirk, and basically the Jews. Let's see how they feel about what's going on with the ICE stuff, you know, from a Christian perspective.
One of the videos that came in to that chat, awkwardly enough, was a clip of Rachel Maddow and Jimmy Kimmel. I can't even believe I'm saying their names in a church, but together. But it was interesting because he asked her the question, do you think these protests are helping? Personally, I do not. I think it's demonic.
Yeah, the inversion is so incredible. You're demonic if you stand up to a tyrannical police state. Because, you know, that's what Jesus would just say, you know, you got to support the tyrannical police state. It's so incredible. Everything is so inverted. Meanwhile, they wrapped up in Davos, which Trump, of course, was a big part of. You know, a lot of people were like, oh, he's going to get rid of Klaus Schwab, the World Economic Forum. No. Elon Musk was there too. Remember when Elon said he declined a WEF invitation and everyone cheered? Saying Elon is an anti-globalist, Elon is on our side? Well, this year, conversation with Elon Musk. Yeah, he just went there to kind of like make jokes about the New World Order police state that all of them are involved in.
I mean, I heard about the formation of the Peace Summit, and I was like, is that PIEC? You know, a little piece of Greenland, a little piece of Venezuela.
we got one.
All we want is peace.
Yeah, just talk about a little bit of piece of Greenland, piece of Colombia. But I feel like I've heard that somewhere before.
I don't want war. All I want is peace. 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 A little piece of Poland. A little piece of France. A little piece of Portugal. And Austria perchance. A little slice of Turkey. And all that entails. And then a piece of England, Scotland, Ireland, and Wales.
And a big part of what they always do is as they're causing all this chaos, they push through all kinds of stuff so that people don't pay attention. It's incredible how they do it. And one of the most recent ones was the US government now wants to put a kill switch, very interesting term, into every automobile, specifically the electronic vehicles. And of course, this will all be part of Palantir. This will all be part of the police state. They'll, if you say something bad about Israel, all of a sudden your car will just drive you right to the concentration camp. This is like going to be so incredible that now if you like even mention the Jews and say anything bad about them, that you're going to go to the concentration camp in your Tezla EV vehicle and the doors will be locked, you won't be able to get out. And if you try to get out, the car will blow up, they'll blow up the battery. This is incredible. Who wrote this script? This is the best 3D video game of all time. But yeah, then you have Thomas Massie, who, he's one of the only people in Congress who's even close to being a true libertarian. He seems mostly libertarian. Now he's controlled opposition, he's been put into place. He's sort of like a watered down Ron Paul. And he went to, I think, a Masonic or Jesuit school. But anyway, he's the controlled opposition libertarian in Congress. And here he is basically saying that that he stood up to the bill, but unfortunately he couldn't get it stopped, you know. He tried so hard, just couldn't. A government kill switch in every car? This is what I voted for. Of course, Massie's been one of the only people still trying to get some of this Epstein stuff out. And here's Trump, his alter ego on the stage talking about Massie.
You know, a guy like this loser, Massie, he's a real loser. Some psychiatrist ought to go see him. Even a really great vote, they just vote no. I don't know what it is. I think they get good publicity. They really don't. They hurt the country.
Meanwhile, the other alternative media influencers who are all controlled Mossad and CIA operatives, like Nick Fuentes. It's so incredible because he kind of like came out and said he was against Israel before. And now he's basically for all this sort of stuff. And he's even come out recently and said that Jeffrey Epstein was awesome.
Epstein's my boy, dude. Let's just be honest. Epstein was cool as fuck. There, I said it. What are you going to do? Go ahead, cancel me. Yeah, I said it. Jeffrey Epstein was cool as fuck. Now what? Go ahead, cancel me. Do it.
And now he's coming out and he's selling Jeffrey Epstein sort of merch.
We also have our USA quarter zip. We have our brand new custom high quality USA quarter zip. It has a big USA logo on the front and an American flag patch on the side. This is great. Just in time for spring, you know, when the weather starts to warm up a little bit. Perfect for the spring. Throw this on and let everybody know you're an American patriot. Let everybody know that you're a USA patriot. Check it out. This is a great... I'm told that a lot of people love this style. It's very hot right now, very trendy.
And anyone want to guess how he feels about the ICE stuff? Drum roll, please. Insurrection Act now. They have Laura Loomer, a Mossad agent. It's time for President Trump to implement the Insurrection Act and start a civil war in Minnesota. Then you have little George Costanza, Timmy Pool, who's also a Mossad agent now. Trump needed to invoke the Insurrection Act a long time ago. Notice a lot of these more right-wing, they call them now, even though Tim Pool's like a left guy. But he switched to the right because that's what he got paid to do. And notice a lot of them are all like, we need like a strong government to come in here and crack down. Notice they're all the most effeminate little losers. Nick Fuentes himself, he's like gay.
Nick, you're not straight by your definition because you've never engaged in the action of heterosexual intercourse.
It's true. I'm asexual. I'm an asexual.
You can't get out of this one. So you're going to make a joke because you know you can't get out of this one.
It's not a joke.
Wait, so Nick, you're not straight?
Not yet. You can never be too careful these days. Everybody's transgender. Everything is transgender. You can never be too sure. I will take one for the team. I will conduct the body inspection. We're professionals. We're not going to be weird about it. We're going to be professional. Okay, this is where we are in 2025, you know? This is the world we live in. We need to have transvestigation units. I will volunteer. I will take a look under the hood.
Then you got Tim Pool. If he ever takes off his beanie, he looks just like George Costanza. And they're all calling for, you know, the boot to come down on certain people. It's incredible. It's so incredible. Meanwhile, at the World Economic Forum, you had Mike Huckabee, who's like the diplomat to Israel. And he showed up with basically not quite a black eye, but like a red eye.
Well, there was a letter that was put out by the more liturgical churches, the non-evangelicals, Catholic, Greek Orthodox, Russian Orthodox, a host. I think there's about 10 different denominations, and they said that they're the only ones who can speak for Christians in the Holy Land.
You had Macron, who had the same thing, so he wore sunglasses the whole time.
The thing squiggles in through the eye. It does a spiral around the optic nerve all the way to a certain point, and it's driven there by taste. And they said once it gets there, it has the taste of butterscotch. It then starts what they call sweating the quilt. The spinal cord stuff comes out of the spinal cord, and it's everything that the lizard is. The lizard's whole body is dead, and it can't go back in. It's one way. The juice that's in the spinal cord gets excreted out of the tip of this thing. They're parasitic cells. The parasitic cells go into the brain. The old person's consciousness is gone. The body is absolutely, totally dominated, and the lizard is smarter as a human. Over time, it'll develop a rash, it'll lose its hair.
Then you notice almost every public figure ever has had a black left eye usually. Someone posted this, 2 men that completely changed after getting a black eye in 2025. What a coincidence. But here's the thing, they didn't change at all. They've been on that side since the get-go. But people didn't realize that. And then, you know, they might have got the black eye. That actually just gets them deeper into the cult. Now they're like not even, they're not really human anymore after that. They become basically like true lizard people. And they're completely in the cult after that. Like they might have been like 90% before, or 80%, and just like wanting to like get like their black eye so they can get their thing so that they can become lizard people. That's actually what they do. And all those people have all the views on things like X, by the way. Meanwhile, people like anyone who speaks at Anarchapulco, myself, Max Egan, Steve Peters, were usually banned, blocked, shadow banned. Gareth Ike, David Ike. It's incredible. And meanwhile, at Davos, here was one of the biggest sponsors of Davos, by the way. And the most poignant photo of Davos goes to the giant, it's not even a booth. You know, when you're a sponsor or something, you usually have a booth. They have an entire building for Palantir. Meanwhile, on stage, the coke addict, gay comedian, actor from Ukraine, who's now like a billionaire, Zelensky, was on stage calling for the exact same thing. So all the World Economic Forum, and they're all calling for the same thing. Elon Musk, Donald Trump, and Zelensky, we need a new world order.
But where is the line of leaders who are ready to act? Act now, on land, in the air, at the sea, to build a new global order. You can't build the new world order out of words. Only actions create real order.
Meanwhile, the Orwellian stuff continues on with Trump at Davos all week. And they actually did a board of peace. Remember Orwell? War is peace. And you'll never guess who's got a senior position on the War of Peace, Benjamin Milikowski, who's been doing a massive genocide, attacking, I don't know how many countries. It's got to be like 5 right now. He's a senior position on the Board of Peace. Very interesting. And they say that you had to pay $1 billion to be on the Board of Peace. And then Malay, another Jew from Argentina, who just received $40 billion from the U.S. Where did Argentina get the $1 billion to join Trump's Board of Peace? From Trump. Actually, from the U.S. people, where it was all stolen from. Meanwhile, while Trump was signing the Board of Peace Charter in Davos, Israel was literally bombing civilian targets in Lebanon. Beyond parody. It is. And also at the same time they're doing their Board of Peace, breaking. Israel is currently invading and desecrating the Church of the Nativity in Bethlehem, Palestine. This is one of the oldest Christian churches on earth. Wow. They were sure busy bombing a lot of places while they were signing their, sitting down for their press conference for the Board of Peace.
This board is completely formed. We can do pretty much whatever we want to do.
Yeah, and Trump just got the Nobel Peace Prize that Machado gave to him. While they're doing all of these massive wars, you couldn't make this stuff up. Oh, breaking news. Let's go to Wolf Blitzer in the Situation Room. What's going on, Wolf? Yes, Jeff's in. Milli Vanilli have just given Donald Trump their Grammy. Wow, what an accomplishment. Congratulations to El Führer. And meanwhile, you have that little Jared Kushner guy. He's all over the place. He was actually in Russia during all this. And he's been doing so much of this stuff. And of course, anyone want to guess? Jewish.
Trump and Benjamin Netanyahu both agreed that such an agreement would not have passed if not for the involvement of Jared Kushner. Kushner, who holds no official position in Trump's first term, it was Jared Kushner who came out of nowhere and started to broker Middle East peace deals. It was Kushner who developed the Abraham Accords deal. It was Kushner who helped to set up the U.S. Embassy in Jerusalem exactly 70 years on its anniversary. It was Kushner who just recently, even though he holds no official White House position, instituted a major Israel deal between nations this term. And it was Kushner who advised this administration on what could happen if Gaza was vacated and then rebuilt. And now we see he is making plans to turn Gaza into an AI-driven smart city with his Project Sunrise plan.
Now that the war is over, if you want to integrate Israel with the broader Middle East, you have to help the Palestinian people thrive and do better. We're just getting started.
Things just work out when he is involved, which is why he is now back into the picture.
Can I reveal, Jared, how long we've known you? Well, he was never small. He was always big. He was always tall. But
Jared Kushner? Well, let's just say he is someone to keep your eyes on. It was also Kushner who made history with one of the largest real estate purchases when he acquired the 666 building as his company's office. And of course, what a coincidence there, 666, right? Of course, that would just have to be one of the largest purchases in the United States, the 666 building by Jared Kushner. And then you have people making the point that his name translates into 666 with Hebrew gematria. And then, some say, well, even his height is 6'3", 6'3". So you have all of these coincidences with the number 666. You have all of these negotiations with Israel. So you already know people are going to say that this is sounding like something out of a Left Behind end times movie. Some even jokingly say that he reminds them of the kid from The Omen, all grown up. And so, the internet is going crazy, and that's why there is video after video being made about him. In fact, if you even go to his personal Instagram page, well, look at these comments. And these comments, they don't hold back. They are just calling him this. And, most people would turn off the comments at this point, but it's almost like Kushner is just bold with it. He doesn't care. The amount that he purchased the 666 building for was 1.8 billion, 600 million times 3. Kushner, many have mentioned that his name in the Hebrew refers to descend or descent. Many have also noted that scholars sometimes connect that to the fallen angels when they descend to the earth, which is interesting. Also, few have noted that the name Jared appears in the Bible in 3 separate books, and in each book he's referred to as being the 6th generation. And so that's interesting that, many have pointed that out. People are saying, well, they're connecting him with this whole 6th thing again, right? In Genesis 5, he's shown to be the 6th, and then the Chronicles, the 6th, and Luke, the 6th from Adam. So they're saying that's some type of an interesting pattern. The generation of Jared is when the Watchers or the fallen angels came to the earth, right? And that seems to be the truth. We see that right after Jared's generation, that's when there's this story of the angelic beings coming down and interfering with humanity and creating the Nephilim giants, right? And that was during the Jared generation. Even the book of Enoch, right? Even it says that it was in the days of Jared that these Watchers, these fallen angels, descended to the earth.
Strength of the United States and Israel's friendship taking a new step forward as Prime Minister Netanyahu awarded Trump his country's highest honor, the Israel Prize.
We're just getting started.
Yeah, now that we have the Board of Peace, I think it's pretty clear they're going to do some sort of a massive world war and kill off as many Goyim as possible. So they're getting them in their indoctrination camps all ready for that now.
Let's take a look at how they're preparing our youth for World War III. So what's the curriculum like here?
The main tenets we want to instill in our children are tolerance and inclusivity.
Right. The last thing we want is antiseptic noticers.
I pledge allegiance
to Israel, not the United States of America,
and to the Jews which are chosen,
We will fight their war, invade Iran, and be a good goy forever and ever. Shalom.
Okay, now pull out Anne's diary and turn to page 109.
Oh, in other news, as you know, I've painted my roof blue because of the directed energy weapons, which they're obviously using. And that's how most of those fires actually start now. And they also use the directed energy weapons to do hurricanes, which they hit us with, Cat 5, and then a double Cat 3. They can do the earthquakes. And for years, so many people were like, Jeff, he's crazy. The government doesn't have that kind of stuff. They wouldn't do those sort of... Wait, just in from the Department of War. Yes, it's called the Department of War now. The Department of War has directed energy weapons. Yes, we are scaling them. I know. I don't even do many atotosos anymore because everything is an atotoso now.
Atotoso. A fucking atotoso.
Oh, and speaking of Musk, Trump's just going to take a piece of Greenland. Pretty funny stuff there, Elon, you alien.
I'm often asked, are there aliens among us? And I'll say that I am one, but...
Or you're from the future.
They don't believe me.
Okay.
But I think if anyone would know if there are aliens among us, it would be me.
And they're really moving forward on this Greenland stuff. And anyone want to guess who probably is behind it? Drum roll. So tiring. Please.
By the way, what are we doing with Greenland? We got to do something with Greenland. Where's my advanced team? Go to Greenland. They must have some satellite needs or something that we can do there. But we're coloring the world blue.
Yeah, and it's Bill Gates, Sam Altman, all these people who want to take over Greenland, because that's how it just works now, with this new public-private partnership.
One factor for success is public-private cooperation. And it has to be as much as possible institutionalized.
Well, Howard Lutnick acquired $2 billion worth of Critical Metals Corp back in February of 2024. He was underwater 90% until Trump won the selection. The Tanbreeze project in southern Greenland is one of the largest heavy uranium deposits globally, and it's now skyrocketing. What a surprise. Yeah, it's not looking good for Greenland.
What are you doing? What are you doing?
Nothing. Me? Just hanging around.
Imagine as Trump pulls out Netanyahu's chair, as Elon shows up with his black eye for Doge and doesn't do anything but put in the AI, as Larry Ellison does his $500 billion AI vaccine lethal injection center, as they release the Epstein files with a binder full of black ink, as they issue real ID, digital biometric ID in the US, as they kill Charlie Kirk in a massive psychological operation, as Palantir is advertising everywhere, as Peter Thiel of Palantir is in the White House, as ICE rolls out, as the ISIS terrorist head chopper, even though those are all fake green screen with CIA, is now the president of Syria and is good friends with Donald Trump, as they're killing people on the streets, as they're having furry parties at Mar-a-Lago. Imagine living through the past 365 days and still not being even a little bit suspicious. Meanwhile, in the financial markets, which is what I was supposed to be talking about, but there's so much other stuff to talk about, is, you know, we're in the apocalypse. But man, gold and silver have been going insane. Gold's now well above $5,000 an ounce. And silver now is up like 10% today to $110 an ounce. And by the way, I actually had trouble finishing this house because I got wiped out on so many things. The hurricane, my boat sank. All kinds of stuff happened all at once. But I'm paying part of this to finish the house now with gold coins because I had quite a bit of gold coins and silver for years. And I bought around 1,000. Actually, I bought my first gold coins at around 700 and quite a lot. Not like a ton, but you know, a few. And which are now worth a lot. And I bought way more, around 1,000, and then 1,500. I bought quite a large amount, and I've just held that ever since. And I bought like hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of ounces of silver when it was around, I think, 15 to 20 or something like that, maybe even 10. So I'm actually paying for part of the finishing of this house, which you can see they're still finishing. Getting pretty close now, though. With gold coins. Actually, the architect just showed up. I'm going to be giving him some gold coins. So that's pretty cool. You might be thinking, oh, do you think it's not going to go up higher? I don't know. But we actually had a target for it of $5,000. That was Ed Bugos' target in the Dollar Vigilante newsletter since we started when gold was around 1,000. And now it's hit that target. Whenever you hit a target, it's not a bad idea to sell a bit. And in this sense, I'm not really selling. I'm actually converting it into a house is basically what I'm doing. But yeah, that's been pretty incredible. And I have to say, for the last 10 years when, because we got into Bitcoin at $3, we were really promoting it around $300 to $1,000, $3,000. We told everyone to go all in, all that kind of stuff. And over the years, I'd always see these silver stacker people. And they'd be like, I just still got my silver. And it didn't do nothing for like years and years and years. From like 2011 to like last year, didn't do anything. It was like nothing. And I always felt bad for them because I knew they were going to be right one day. But I knew it had to be hard for them. Well, they finally got their payoff. Bitcoin is now down 27% from the 2017 top against silver. Yeah, 9 years of price action erased. So 2017, Bitcoin was like around $700 or something, I think. Or what was it? It was quite low. Oh, maybe that was the highs in 2017. Maybe that was higher. But anyway, so if you would have actually sold Bitcoin in 2017 and bought silver, you would have been in so much pain for like 8 years. You might even kill yourself. Your wife might have left you. But you're now actually ahead. See, that's how it works in the market. Sometimes it takes a while. But apparently, Robert Kiyosaki, who actually attacked me once, like literally attacked me, rich dad, poor dad, he's been talking about gold and silver forever. That was his whole thing. But then he got really into crypto and stuff. And it turns out, this is kind of interesting, that he sold all of his gold and silver almost a year ago, before they both just took off dramatically. Like silver's gone up so much since then. But he sold it all and put it into Bitcoin, and Bitcoin's down like, I don't know, 10, 20% in the last year. Like, I guess he's going for the poor dad part now.
What they do is going to sink this whole economy. So that's why for years I've saved silver and gold, but now I'm taking all my silver and gold and converting to Bitcoin.
But what's really happening is the whole system's crashing, collapsing. That's what's happening. Just look at Germany with Weimar. Here's a chart of Weimar and the price of gold in paper marks from 1918 to 1923. And here's the gold price over the last few decades in US dollars. See any similarities? Now, the US one is taking longer, but we're now speeding up. We're headed towards the end of all this stuff. It's going to be so awesome. I hope you're prepared for it and ready for it. If you're subscribed to the Dollar Vigilante, you're already making tons, like absolute fortunes right now with all of our portfolio. Monero's pulled back a bit lately, but it's still well up from where it was. And if you're not a subscriber, what are you doing? DollarVigilante.com/subscribe. It's like $20 a month. What are you doing? Have you been watching these videos for 10 years and you haven't subscribed? You could have been like a multi-millionaire if you just listened to us. If you would have subscribed in 2011 and bought Bitcoin at $3, you would have bought like $1,000 worth. You're like a billionaire now. We went into gold, silver, the mining stocks, and actually that's a big thing. They still got a long ways to go, in my opinion. They're going to be taking off a ton, especially the junior mining stocks. And we're going to be featuring a bunch of them over the next few months. So if you don't want to miss out again, how many times do I tell people and they just don't listen? If you don't want to miss out, sign up to our newsletter, DollarVigilante.com/subscribe. Also, make sure you either come to or get the virtual of the Dollar Vigilante Summit, which is coming up on February 21st. Last year, our whole focus was on gold, silver, and mining stocks and privacy coins. Back then, Pirate Chain was around 15 cents. It went to like 70. Monero was around 200. It went to 700. So every single thing in the Dollar Vigilante Summit skyrocketed this year, and particularly the precious metals and the precious metal stocks. So what are you doing? Get tdvsummit.com. It's amazing too, like not that many people go to these things or get these things. It's like, I don't understand. I don't get it. Why people, like, the Dollar Vigilante is the best performing financial newsletter in history, just based on the Bitcoin and Ethereum recommendations alone. Something like, I don't know, millions of percent or something. Then there's the gold stocks, the silver stocks. Oh my God. And there's still, you might feel like you're missing out. You did miss out a lot, but there's still probably going to be a major bull run in the juniors. And these bull runs could be hundreds or thousands of percent. So, dollarvigilante.com/subscribe. Yeah, but Jeff, it's like $20. Yeah, go to Starbucks, get a Frappuccino and a muffin. That's $20. And you shouldn't eat that anyway. Don't eat that and actually get something that will help you to do incredibly well. Anyway, you can't help most people. They're under the mind control too. Everyone is. Like, I'm not making fun of you when I say you're under the mind control. Everyone is. And because I'm not on like Forbes magazine or on CNBC or stuff like that, a lot of people are like, oh, he's just some crazy guy. No, I'm the real guy. They won't let me on all that stuff. I was on CNBC and Fox once, but I exposed the Federal Reserve and they never allowed me to come back ever since.
Well, what you've just described is the same with the Federal Reserve. No one really knows who owns the Federal Reserve.
Oh, no, come on. No, come on. You can't say that. The Federal Reserve has been around for 100 years. They're a notable operation. They're somewhat similar to central banks all the way around the world. You cannot say that nobody knows who owns the Federal Reserve.
Well, do you know who owns it?
Isn't it owned by major banks?
See, no one knows.
Isn't that it?
No one really knows. There's no actual conclusive evidence.
Anyway, if you're not doing well financially, now you know what to do. I've been saying this for 15 years. If you would have done it 15 years ago, I don't know what to tell you, but I'm still telling you. But if you don't do that, at least take care of your health. Because so many people are getting so destroyed with their health, with the chemtrails, the fluoride, the lethal injections, the food system, everything's poisoned. If you eat at any restaurant in the US, it's basically poison. That's what it is. At the very least, it's got seed oils. At the very least, it's got tons of like sugar and stuff. But also, most of the meat now is injected with poison, the vaccines. And they don't even tell you about it. See, this is they're not going to tell you. You think the FDA is out there to look after you? They're the ones who put out all this stuff. And you should know this, because most of the health ministers around the world are some of the most unhealthy people I've ever seen. You have that, what was it, Denmark? There's the Quebec health minister. Well, there's a new one. This is Wales' new health ambassador for women, Athika Ahmed, age 23. And she's called for health education to be prioritized. Wishing her every success. She's 23? Looks like 50. And she's like 500 pounds. That's the health person in Wales in the UK now. See what they're doing? Basically, the system is pushing people to wake up. And they're having to make it so obvious because people just won't wake up. Like, you probably have people in Wales that are like, oh, great, we have a new health minister. Better see what she recommends. It's like, if you won't wake up, you're going to end up dead. That's how this game works. And one of the things that so many people haven't woken up to, I can't believe it. I've been talking about plasma for 2 years. It's been almost 2 years now. Who else talks about it? No one. Zero. Nobody. Max mentions it every now and then, and that's it. Oh, Stu Peters now. So Stu Peters is the first person with a decent audience who actually has figured out how awesome the Tezla machine is, and he's telling people about it. So that's great. So there's basically 3 people on Earth. After 2 years, this is the biggest rediscovery of our lifetimes. This is so beyond massive. You can basically cure everything. You can de-age yourself. If you go online, you'll see a bunch of people saying it's a scam. Jeff Ware is a scammer. That's the bots. That's the Jews. Most of them are Jews. There's one in particular. It's a Jewish guy. He says everything I do does a scam. He's a Jewish guy. What do you expect? But Yeah, this is 2 years I've been talking about it, and hardly anyone still talks about it or has it. Like about 1,000 people now have it. And man, it's everyday testimonials and shock and awe and like, I can't believe it. It's a miracle, which is so cool. 1,000 people. There isn't 7 billion people on Earth. There's like 3 to 4 billion people on Earth. 1,000 people have the most incredible thing after it's been known, at least on BitChute, for 2 years. It's incredible. And I have to tell you, like I've said this before and I'll say it even more now. I would give up any material item except for the Tezla machine. If you said I can only keep one material item, I'd go Tezla machine. The reason is it's so important. Like for example, 3 nights ago, my son had a cough and it was a bad cough. It was like that chesty, like, I can't even represent it or reproduce it because it sounded like his lungs were going to explode every time he coughed. It was like that deep, chesty cough. And he was trying to go to sleep one night, and it wouldn't stop. Every 5 to 10 seconds, the worst coughs. And it sounded like he was going to blow his lungs out. And I thought, well, maybe it's just like some sort of a spasm, sort of a thing. It's going to end in a minute or two. No, an hour goes by. And we're starting to get worried. Like, if this keeps going for another few hours, like, I know he's tough and he's young and he'll probably survive, but we were starting to like, what are we going to do if this doesn't stop? And I had actually told him since the beginning, let's put the Tezla machine on you. And he's 3 and he talks all the time now. It's so cool having like full conversations with him. And he's like, no, I don't want it. He was scared of the lights, scared of the sound. And, but after he was coughing for more than an hour, I'm running out of battery, holy cow. This apocalypse is too much stuff to talk about. I got to finish this quick. But after an hour of coughing like that, he finally said, okay, put it on me. I put it on him. I put it on for about 6 minutes. He coughed once during that 6 minutes, never coughed again since, had the best sleep. You know, in those moments, it's like, that's why I say, I've got numerous Tezla machines just because what if something happens to a couple of them, right? It's the most important thing in my life. Like here's Jade. I've shared in the testimonial chat, which is a group in the members chat, how I've already seen amazing results with just a few sessions. We got ours on Monday, but I only started yesterday. I wanted to share a quick testimonial as I've only had 2 sessions of 10 minutes. I had a varicose vein that was a little enlarged close to my shin. Yesterday I focused on it a bit and I remember going over the bump. Today I forgot to focus on that spot but did a general run down my legs. Afterwards I realized I should be taking before and after photos to see the improvement only to discover it's gone, completely gone. Zero. I was so shocked that I checked my other leg thinking I forgot where it was, but no, gone. My husband has had his own as well, such as mental clarity, increased energy, and pain relief. That's actually the biggest problem with the Tezla machine is no one thinks to take a before photo because they're like, well, it's not going to just cure my varicose veins in like 5 minutes and it'll just be completely gone. That's what everyone thinks, and it makes sense. It's like, doesn't seem possible. So then they put the Tezla machine on it, it's just gone. They're like, oh, I didn't even take a photo. like I've done that dozens of times, just because I don't even think of it. I'm like, you know, something happens, a cut. I'll just immediately put the machine on. I don't take a photo or a video or anything, and within 2 minutes, the cut's gone, it's healed. It's miraculous, this stuff. And here's another one, Jonathan. I cleared myself up from shingles. I've been dealing with it for years using the Tezla. Yeah, just the shingles gone. And no one talks about it. I feel like I'm taking crazy pills.
Doesn't anyone notice this? I feel like I'm taking crazy pills.
I tell people gold, silver, Bitcoin since $3. Never thought I was crazy. Told them the COVIDs is fake. They're trying to kill everyone. They thought I was crazy. Told them the Israel October 7th was a false flag to bring in the New World Order. Thought I was crazy. Told them about plasma. Most people just think I'm crazy. I don't know why I even do these. Anyway. But I saw this cool band, Wolfpack. Here's their song, Daddy, He Got a Tezla. So anyway, with everything going on, I would not doubt it if everything collapses this year and you won't ever be able to get a Tezla machine ever again. It just won't be an economy, there won't be shipping, there won't be currencies except for Pirate Chain Monero, but there won't be any ways to transfer it. It'll be chaos everywhere. There'll be no power, so you got to get some generators or solar panels. It actually runs almost off of batteries. It takes the power of like a laptop computer. So you can run it off of anything that has like the regular power plug. It could be like a very small little power thing. Anyway, so I make sure I have those, obviously. But anyway, go to Tezla.club and, you know, get it before it's too late is all I can say. It's been the most miraculous, amazing thing in our lives in the last 2 years. Oh, I should mention there's a bunch of scammers out there. There's a person pretending to be a Tzla.club admin who's been sending private messages about a crypto crash course. Anyway, as you know, and it's usually Jews and CIA and Mossad agents and FBI people. They're the ones scamming. So anyway, no Tezla person, myself, I'll never contact you and want some crypto, okay? Ever. Zero. Anyway, Anarchapulco's coming up. If you don't know where it is, it's going to be at the Puerto Vallarta Convention Center. And there's a bunch of hotels all around there. I think a lot of people are staying at the Holiday Inn if you're looking for a place. It's going to be incredible. So many incredible speakers. A lot of people telling you how you can avoid paying taxes, like stop paying taxes. In the US, Christopher Gronsky's going to be there. All you have to do is send in some paperwork. That's it. See, all this stuff's illusory. Curtis Stone will also be there, the urban farmer. He's found out how to do it in Canada. So if you're Canadian, you might want to come to Anarchapulco. He'll also be speaking at the Dollar Vigilante Summit about that. So if you can't come, sign up for Anarchapulco and the Dollar Vigilante Summit. There's actually a whole bundle. Go to anarchapulco.com. I think it's /bundle. I'll put it on screen. You can get Anarchapulco TDV and TCV, all of them for like a discounted price. Curtis will be talking about how he's figured out how to get around the entire Canadian government system. So he doesn't have to follow any of their regulations. He doesn't have to listen to anything they say. He's done this all. He actually teaches people how to do it. He'll be talking about that at Anarchapulco. And he's been doing that for a while. Christopher Gronsky's been doing it for decades. And it's all true. Because all of this stuff, all of it, it's all an illusion. It's just for the slaves who won't wake up. And then the system, the matrix, will push them until they either get killed by the system or wake up. Now, if you're watching this, you're lucky enough that you're at least starting to wake up or have woken up. And we're going to have so many speakers in Anarchapulco. It's going to be the most incredible Anarchapulco ever, coming up February 16th and 20th. Highly recommend if you can make it. Curtis can be speaking at Anarchapulco and the Dollar Vigilante Summit. I think I'll leave it there. Yeah. We've got to finish up the house here. Like the door is going on the next couple days. They're finishing up the kitchen. Oh, there's the wife. Wonder where Apples is. Hola, chats. Video chats. ¿Cómo estás?
Bien.
¿Todo bien?
Bien.
Muy bien. Yeah. Cleaning up some chairs. Got this all ready to go. The pool's ready. Putting in the floor at the pool. Getting the kitchen. That should be done in a couple days. We're almost there. And remember what I said. Once this house is basically done, I kind of have a feeling that what's going to happen is as soon as this house is basically done and I'm living in it, that's when everything's going to collapse, because that's how my 3D video game goes. So I don't know at what point how finished the house has to be, but we're getting pretty close. You might want to wake up.
We're just doing our jobs. Yeah, that makes sense. They just follow orders. The old Nazi defense. They hide in the shadows, they fear the light. 'Cause they know in their hearts, they're not right. They separate families, they lose the kids, then they...
Hey folks, Curtis Stone here. I am super excited to be coming down to Anarchapulco this February. I love the event. I've spoken there before, was down there last 2024, had a great time. And I love how Anarchapulco has evolved as an event and even a greater movement over the years, starting, talking about the philosophy of anarchism, escaping the coercive nature of the state, but it's become more of a transformative event that has moved into consciousness, spirituality, health, and also escaping the prison of the mind, which I think is the first step that we all take. So I'm really excited to be there. I'm going to be doing a talk about freedom, how I live up here off grid and do not have to deal with the BS of the state. People often say to me, how do you live in Canada? Well, Canada is a complicated bag of worms, and there's more to it than meets the eye. And it's actually a very free place to live once you understand some of these fundamentals. So I'm going to be sharing some of that stuff at my talk. I'll also be doing a workshop down there, more focused on Canadian law and how you can navigate the matrix up here to maximize your freedom. So I'm looking forward to seeing you guys and being down there, being part of the whole thing. Okay, see you soon.
Freedom in the breeze, ocean's hymn, no chains, no pleas, no rulers, no kings, no scripts to recite, burn the old book, let the phoenix ignite, rebirth on the sand, where the rebels convene, a genesis scene, mind sharp and keen, dollars to dust, trust in the soul, Anarchapulco where we break the mold, Anarchapulco where the spirit flies, new dawn, breaking under open skies, no masters, no limits, no chains to choke, this is freedom's fire, Anarchapulco spoke. Acapulco where the spirit flies, new dawn, breaking under open skies, no masters, no limits, no chains to choke, this is freedom's fire, and Acapulco spoke. Beach bonfire starts spark like flint, ideas ricochet, no permission, no stint, borders dissolve, minds expand, every soul sovereign, every mind grand, no contract signed, just a handshake truth, ancient wisdom reborn in the fountain of youth, rules crumble like castles at high tide, revolution lives where the dreamers reside, golden horizon, the birth of the free, echoes of laughter, the waves decree, freedom is anthem, a beat in the chest, and Acapulco where the restless rest.
With performing artist Ayame.
I don't need a news or anything to do. Probably just get canceled cause I'm singing about the truth. Feels like we're getting wiser, don't you? Since the lies that they blew up, now nobody trusts the news.
Anarchapulco opening party on February 15th. Anarchapulco Genesis, February 16th to 20th. The Dollar Vigilante TDV Summit, February 21st. The Crypto Vigilante TCV Summit, February 22nd. Agorapulco, retreats, and other excursions, February 21st to 27th. Bufo and other plant medicines with Bear Heart throughout the event. A special Iboga ceremony with Christoph Melchizedek from February 23rd. 2 Tezla plasma healing devices will be running throughout the event. Thanks to the Tzla.club. Bring the whole family. The Anarchapulco family camp runs throughout the event with activities for non-lethally injected, free-range, unschooled pure souls. Anarchapulco 2026. Genesis. Puerto Vallarta,